Hello everyone and welcome back to Vet Chats, where we help veterans share their awesome stories and make the veteran community a better place. I hope you'll stay tuned to hear how the new generation is continuing their service. Also, Vet Chats is now on Reach Across America Radio. We will be played Mondays at 9 p.m. and Saturdays at 3 p.m. They have a ton of great veteran content. If you want to check them out, you can check them out at their website or on their app, the iHeartRadio app or the Odyssey app. Also, the Veteran Workbook is now available. The best place to find it is in my bio if you haven't checked it out yet. Hello, everyone. So it is just going to be me tonight. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so it's on purpose. I just wanted to catch up, kind of talk. I have a few things that I want to talk about and answer a few questions. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. I know I did. It wasn't too bad weather-wise. It wasn't too hot. But so I enjoyed it. Hey. Yeah, so updates. We are doing the Veteran Workbook Challenge. So what we're doing in the Facebook group, if you aren't a part of our Facebook group, it's been really cool because Facebook now has these chats. I guess they had it for a few months, but they have all these different channels that you can go to. And we have one for just like getting support. We have one for veteran resources. We have sobriety and recovery chat. We have a pets and other animals ones, which is really fun. People send and share and talk about their pets. And then we also have the Veteran Workbook Challenge, which we're basically going through the whole workbook, this workbook, and every day we're discussing. So right now we're on theme 2, which is keeping a promise to yourself. So I post everything in here in the chat, so you don't need to have the actual book with you. And we just kind of talk and answer the prompts and have a cool conversation. So it's been really nice. Yeah, and so if anybody wants to join, just make sure you have to be a member of our Facebook group, and then you can go to the channel and you can see it. Yeah, also we have a pretty cool announcement because it's been a while since we have. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle, I also wrote down, since we're on topic, from Veteran Help Point, she has an event coming up September 30th. So if you are in the Pennsylvania area, definitely check out her page and her event. But also we have another announcement, and that is that we have merch. It's been a while, I think since last December, since we've had shirts or anything. And so basically what I did was I just made like one of those Shopify accounts, and it's print on demand. I think I added like an extra $1 or $2 just so we can keep the shop open, but otherwise I made everything super cheap. The shipping's kind of so-so, but I mean, you can't complain on that. So we have hats, and I think these are really cool because it's actually sewn in there. It's not just a logo. Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about black hats on me, but it's pretty cute, right? So that's also available in the link. And we have a sweatshirt. It's actually really nice. Really nice quality. I had to buy everything before I put it online just to make sure the quality was good. So I know it's backwards, but yeah, it's gray with black. It's got nice strings on it. I really like this. I'm going to be wearing that a lot. And then there's also a t-shirt, which didn't come in yet, but I'm just based off the quality of this, I think it's going to be pretty good. And there's a mug, which I use these all the time. I actually just lost the one that my mother-in-law got me for Christmas. I feel bad, but yeah, the only thing I'm annoyed with is how the logo is here and the handle's here. But I'm going to try to fix that. But if that doesn't bother you guys, go ahead and get it. Check it out. And also, so I've been working on I have one of those knitting machines. And so what I do a lot is I spend a lot of time in this one room in my house, and I have a bunch of yarn that people have given me from estate sales. And it's not like old dusty dead lady yarn. It's actually in bags, so it's been preserved. It's not gross. But I had so much of it, and I was like, what can I do with this? How can I upcycle it? And so I started making hats, and they're pretty cool. They're more like beanies than hats, and I have a few of them here. And these are all in the store too, and they're $15 plus shipping, so not bad. And yeah, I thought they were really cute, and they have our logo on them. If you guys haven't seen this yet, it's the M with the V, and they're cute. And if you don't like the logo, you can screw this off yourself. Not a big deal. But there's a bunch of different ones. Like, I really like these colors. Since it was just a bunch of random yarn, like it really came out cool how just putting the different yarn on. And then I had a bunch of leftover yarn from like projects that I never finished or I never did. And this one's so soft. It's like velvet. I have like 3 of those. So go check those out if you want. All right. This is like unusual for me. It feels weird not having someone else talking to me. Yes, they're veteran made, that's for sure. All right, so I had some questions for you guys. So the VA has a new app, and it's exactly my topic. It's what I love to talk about, which is transition. And they have a bunch of different apps. Yeah, life is always awkward, right? Because it's talking to yourself, which I actually do a lot. But anyhow, the VA has a lot of apps. I don't know if anyone's ever checked them out. Let me know. Like, tell me if you use these daily. I want to know who these are really for, because I feel like they're really targeting for the younger generation. And they have ones, they have PTSD coach, they have exposure education, an ACT coach, mindfulness coach. They had an MST app, and I tried that back when I just really needed to talk to someone, or I just needed some sort of tool, and the VA's been really short on therapists. At least my VA has been. They're not even taking any people. They're just doing groups right now. Pre-Veteran is my fave transition resource to check out. Is that an app, Michelle? I'll have to check that out. But yeah, they have a lot of them, and they just came out with a pilot for one, and it's called GRIT, which stands for Get Results in Transition. I don't know, I downloaded it. I know it's in its kind of pilot stage, but I thought it was pretty cool. You can apply for jobs, and this is what I thought was pretty neat. They have a mind gym, and it actually sends you notifications on there to like ask you how you're doing, checking in with your moods, which I was like, and there's like a journal within the app, which I love. So I thought that was really cool, and hopefully they keep it around or they do more. Let's see what else they have. Digital self. They have a squad, which also I thought was good, because even in my book, I talk about community, how it's important having that around there. Okay, Michelle says that's not a website, but it's changing the game. Pre-Veteran. No, it's a website. Okay, I'm definitely going to check that out. Maybe I'll do that. I had to come to the Philippines to find support and help. That was real interesting. So, veteran abroad. Okay, hey, Missy. I'm glad you're here. All right, so anyhow, it has this squad, so it has, you actually add people to it, and they are a part of your community on there, and I'm not sure, it's like a network of close friends, just really identifying them, and I think that is crucial, to just identifying who's in your circle and knowing, so that when something happens, you already have that identified, people who I can reach out to, or maybe even you can establish something with them beforehand, saying like, hey, you're part of my support for transition. And if they're not familiar with it, this website seems a way for maybe family members to see what it's going to be like. And then, yes, there's the mood and digital journal. It says our current mood can change our perspective and outlook on a situation. Understanding our response to a problem or our interaction with others while keeping negative emotions in check can produce positive outcomes. I really like that. Yeah. Oh, the VA is better out there. That's really cool. So yeah, this is just in the pilot program. I thought it was interesting if anybody wants to check it out. I know someone in one of the chats was talking about it in our group. Yeah, and then another thing I saw, which I thought was interesting, was, this is from Military Times. It was, your next visit to the VA medical center may be in cyberspace. And then it shows someone with those AI, what are those called? Those goggles? You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, so I actually have my VA exam this week, and I'm really nervous about it. But one thing that's kind of keeping my calm is that I am able to do it. Yes, VR, virtual reality. Thank you. But what's Vetaverse? That's what's keeping me calm, is that I can do it virtually, and I think I don't even know if I requested that, but it's really nice that the VA is doing a lot of those virtually now. And very helpful, especially if, you know, you're like me and you have kids and you have to plan driving, and especially I'm not really close to a big VA, so it'd be pretty far. So I don't know. I feel like so first of all, veterans would have to have these VR goggles to be able to do it, but it says in 5 to 10 years, so we'll see. Maybe we'll all just have them, or it'll be standard issue. Hey, Lena. Yeah. And then, I don't know if you guys heard this either, but thousands of vets' disability claims were delayed for years because of a glitch. Oh, really? They do that at the VA there in Orlando? Brian. Yeah. That's Brian. So there was 32,000 veterans that their disabilities claims were delayed, and some were as long as 5 years due to technical flaw in the federal filing system. And I can't imagine waiting that long. And I know the most frustrating part was these people were probably, hey Travis, these people were probably, you know, asking for help, pointing out that they've been waiting, and they were probably just told that, hey, you just gotta wait, like it's just part of our system, or things are really backed up right now, which obviously wasn't the case. And then it goes on saying this is just a small fraction, but I mean, still, that's 32,000 people waiting in frustration and not getting answers. I mean, I know it says they'll be awarded back pay, but still, it just sets up such a bad experience, especially if you've already waited, or you already waited years. So many of us wait years before we even file a claim, and then that happens and you're waiting even longer. Especially, what if you needed that to pay for therapy or pay for something to help your disability? That's just horrible. Yeah. Oh, you think it was a cover-up? Yeah, we deeply apologize to the veterans for the delay. I don't know. It kind of sucks. Yeah. So, I hope if you guys know anyone, or if you experience that, I hope you get your back pay soon. and that you're taken care of. All right. Hi, Nydia. All right. Okay. So I can't find what else I was looking for. But I had a few questions that I wanted to talk about. And if you guys have any topics you want to talk about, like, consider this an open mic night. We can chat, whatever's on your minds. But I had a few questions. Okay, how do you get to the questions? Hopefully my sound's off. All right. So the first one was from Lena, and I know she's on here. And it was talking about dreams of, like, waking up and thinking that you're still at the same job. And she was wondering if I had that. And I think the first few years, I've been out for 6 years now. Wow. Definitely the first 3 years it's happened. And, you know, you wake up, we've all had dreams, especially if you're in the Navy. You wake up and you feel like you're back on the ship, and it's just like, it's such a weird experience, and it's kind of scary to wake. You're just so happy when you wake up and you're in your bed. And I notice when I'm stressed, if I'm really stressed out, I'll have dreams like that as well. But yeah, I don't know. How about, I think other branches probably have that a little different. Hey, if politicians use the VA, it would be much more efficient. Just a thought. That's funny, because when I did work when I was doing my internship in Congress, there was this, she's an officer from Virginia, and she was saying, I've been applying for the VA, and as soon as they accept me, you know, I'm getting all my services there, and I can't, you know, like, I'm really going to try it out so I know what it's like. And I just thought it was funny that she's been waiting that long, or she's on some wait list. How do you help those vets who don't have digital profiles or access? Those hiding off the grid, they need hugs and help too. Absolutely. And I think Michelle would agree from Veteran Help Point that our rural veterans, or, you know, older veterans that aren't connected with the internet, they absolutely need help. And I tried to help as many as I could. When I did my internship, they would call all the time. They would just Google a random number and they would call the VA House Committee. And technology is so frustrating. I don't know about any of you out there, but I'm helping my parents weekly with technology, and that's such a big pain point for them, especially my mom. Like, I have to book all her plane tickets, anything online I have to take care of, even just online orders for her, because she's been scammed so many times, and that's a huge issue as well. And just bought in the wrong things or gotten confused. And it's so easy. I mean, even us who've grown up in the age of the internet, I still get confused on pop-ups and especially around the VA. And I know we all get phone calls like crazy now. So yes, that's a huge frustrating point. So I can't help anyone. I can't help everyone. I mean, my main focus is younger veterans and veterans transitioning, but there are tons of great nonprofits and resources for those that are online. And I think the best place to look first is local. If you're thinking of someone in particular in their county, start with their county, or even their township, and go from there and see where good resources is. I know my county has a resource list for veterans, and I actually went to my first my first county meeting, the Veterans Affairs county meeting, and I got to sit in the meeting. There was about 10 board members, and it was just really cool because they had 2 guest speakers, and they came in and talked about resources that I never knew about. I've been living in Maryland for 5 years, and I'm still learning so much about what's available to us. So yeah, if you have one of those, anyone can go to those meetings, most likely, or they stream it online, and it's really beneficial to see what's going on, or if you want to get involved with your community and volunteer as well. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely. You should join our Facebook group, and we have a podcast and social media plug too that you could, if you'd like to share your podcast information. My dad is an 80-year retired chief in the Philippines. It's hard getting his claims done. Yeah, I can imagine. And again, they were talking about being a veteran overseas as well. Hey, Shannon. You're good. Glad to see you. I can't even fathom that happening in my rural town. What happening? Oh, okay. So yeah, anyhow, that was we'll go to the next question. So I like this because this is near and dear to me as well. Does the VA help with pregnancies? Yes, they do. They absolutely do. So my first pregnancy was in 2018. And I made a post about that recently. Like, I didn't know where to turn. I didn't even have healthcare. I wasn't worried about it at the time. I just got out. And, I was, looking for options. And I called the VA to even see if I was covered because I was 0% connected at that time. And they said absolutely they will cover the entire pregnancy, but the VA does not have maternity services. I think there may be a few now that have maternity care. However, that doesn't matter because you get to go out in town and you get to, depending where you are, I didn't have too many options here, but if you have options, you can choose you can go to a women's health clinic and you can be seen with them. They'll pay for everything, except they didn't pay for, what is it called? Why do I always draw a blank on these? My epidural. They didn't pay for my epidural, and I've been fighting that for years. I actually just got a call from collections 2 days ago asking me to pay the $850. But that didn't happen, and my second pregnancy was in 2021. And they paid for delivery, they paid for all my checkups, everything. So and a lot of women don't know that because they will think that they need to go through, especially if you're just getting out or you're going to school, you would go through the state health insurance. You can go to the VA, they will cover everything. So yeah, definitely share that because a lot of people don't know that. And the system has gotten a lot better because I've heard other bad stories about a few years ago, the VA wouldn't pay for them, just like I'm still fighting with my bill, but they were really good the second time around and they paid for everything. But I will say it's the only bad part about going out in town is not getting that handoff between your primary care doctor and your maternity doctor or your I can't think, but yeah, all your services they're not transferred, so there's things that could be missed, like postpartum, there's symptoms that could be missed, so really make sure you're taking care of yourself. I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, wait, there's a question. Has your meme game improved at all? Are you more proud of your time serving or the work you've done since helping veterans? Absolutely. I'm more proud of, I'll put this on the screen. I'm more proud of the work I've done helping veterans. I think since it's been 6 years, I'm slowly getting more and more, it's not something you ever forget, but you just get a little disconnected with that feeling over time. You forget what it was like to serve, and I'm so thankful for it because it's really led me to my passions, is talking about veterans and helping them and really highlighting the struggles of transition, and that it's so normal, and it's kind of it messes with your mind, and it's different. It's so different, but there's so many things that are the same. Even if you had totally different jobs in the military, we all go through sort of a identity crisis. And I get people commenting on my videos all the time like, oh, I didn't experience that. I just went back to the civilian world. And I kind of roll my eyes and laugh because I've never had someone be actually honest and ask that and answer that way. So I know a lot of it is kind of just projecting. Oh, my questions from stories come in here. That is really cool. And going back to Shannon's question earlier, my meme game has not improved. Yeah. I need a new challenge, I guess. Okay. So this one is, what inspired you to be a mental health advocate? And let me tell you, so when I first started, I did not really know where I was going with this. I just really wanted to get younger veterans together, and mental health was not something I even really thought about. It's something I struggled with, but I was really in denial about it. And the more people I brought on for vet chats, it was just like a line through it. That's what millennial veterans wanted to talk about. They wanted to talk about mental health, how they're seeking treatment, how that works with the VA, how they're doing it themselves, how that's changed from the military and on. And it really inspired me to take a good hard look in the mirror and be honest with myself. Am I struggling? Is this, something that I'm just bearing? Is this something that I'm kind of ignoring and just drinking instead? So yeah, I think really all my guests on Vet Chats, that's who's inspired me. And I wouldn't call myself a mental health advocate. Maybe not yet, but I don't know. I really want people to know that you don't need to be like me. You don't need to be tough. And that's another problem with the veteran community as well. We want to be strong, and we were really conditioned to hold things in and bottle them up and put the mission first, put everyone else first besides yourself and your mental health. And that kind of transferred from me to being a mom, to a wife. Like, everything else comes first, but that's not true. You need to take care of yourself first, or everything else is going to crumble. Absolutely. Okay. Shannon, Shannon, I have a question for you. What's going on with the Shannon show? If you guys don't know Shannon, he is the face of military children, and I had him as a guest last November or maybe October. And it was really cool because we had a lot of common things between the military child experience and the veteran experience. And it may not seem obvious, but a lot of it was about, he was raised in the military world, and then you get out, you move on, and you're on your own. And so they're also pretty dependent on the military support system and in that world. And then when you get out, it's like, it's different. So it was kind of cool. If anybody ever wants to go back and listen to that chat, I think it was a really fun one. And Shannon's just a fun person to banter with. What are some of your all-time favorite Vet Chat episodes, guests? I guess I have to say you. No, just kidding. That was a good one. I just plugged it. So, but I would say there's been so many. I always go to Dr. Pam from PTSD Unplugged because I just learned so much. That was one of the first ones that just really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And one of the big ones, which I've already kind of mentioned, was how the average time for somebody to file a claim is 10 years, which I just think that validates so many people, and especially myself, because I'm going into my VA exam this week, and I know one of the questions may be, why did it take you 6 years to file this claim? Why did you wait that long? And to know that that's the average, that's the norm, it just gives me more confidence to know that, like, it just validates you to know that it takes time to process things. And that's what I talk about a lot with the veteran workbook. It's a lot about looking at what you just went through, because when we get out, it's always, what's next? What are you doing? You know, you have to feed your family. You have to have a job. You have to go to school. So you're not really thinking about, wow, what did that experience, whether it was 4 years or 24 years, what did that impact on who I am? How did it change me? How did it change how I think and how I am as a person? And that's really important to figuring out. So I always think about Dr. Pam. I think about, you know, way back, the first people, that first season that let me bring them on Instagram Live. A lot of them, you know, it was just a lot of fun. And also, I don't know if people knew this, but my first 3 vet chats, I used to drink on them. I used to have like a beer or maybe like 2 beers. And now I look at that and I'm like, that's like a clear sign that I just use alcohol as a crutch so much, because this is nerve-wracking. And yeah, I would rather have a few beers right now. But it's better just to do it sober. And you feel more confident, more authentic. So thank you, Shannon. And Shannon, again, what is going on with you? Is the Shannon show still going on? You know, send us an update, please. Okay. Oh, okay. Izzy's got a recommendation. Speaking on mental health, transitioning out, I highly recommend Tribe by Sebastian Junger. I think I'm saying that right. I haven't heard of that, but if anyone's heard of that, you know, I'm all about reading a new book. Drinking on vet chats like it's a musical festival. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Shauna. And Lena, thank you so much. I appreciate that, because even before this, like, I don't get nervous for vet chats anymore, and that's because I really lean on my guests, and we do a lot of prep before we come on here, so I know what to expect. I know what we're going to be talking about. I don't necessarily know all the details, just because I like it to be really organic, but I know where we're going in the conversation. And this, where's my notebook? I wrote down like 5 things that I could possibly talk about, and I got through them all in the first 10 minutes. So I really appreciate it. Can we have a drunk vet chat podcast, much like Drunk History? That would be a lot of fun. I've had so many weird ideas throughout vet chats. Like, I wanted to do a vet chat roulette where I would let anyone come on the live and talk about it, but now I know that is not a good idea. I'm helping. Okay, so here's Shannon's update. I'm helping some awesome new kids start their own military kids podcast. That'll be way better than mine ever was. More soon to come. Oh, that's awesome. So you got some proteges. You know, you're raising that next generation. I think that's so awesome. Michelle. Oh, yeah, we can talk about that. So I'm going to the Military Influencer Conference. We planned this back in March, and Michelle from Veteran Help Point will be there, and she said we can do it in Vegas. And guess what? I found these, they're like these portable microphones, and you can just clip them, and I was thinking we could do a bunch of interviews or just a bunch of commentary throughout the conference. It'll be a lot of fun. I'll have to send you it. So yeah, that'll be perfect. The best path I've found to help is video chats and having beer or cheers on live chats. I really like to talk. 10 of my vet buddies each week from abroad. Oh, yes. And that's one thing. Actually, if you have time, we did a Veterans Abroad episode with the Veteran Abroad Network, and that was back in May. I think it was May, the last day of April, actually. So go check that out, because we talk about isolation, and I think that's a big thing for veterans living abroad. Oh, so the Benfo agrees that Tribe is an amazing book. Did a book retreat with Sebastian this summer. Oh, that's really cool. You gonna do veteran workbook signings at Mick? If anybody wants them, I would do it. I plan on bringing a few copies. But that makes me laugh, Lena. I need to get my wardrobe right to be walking around with me. No, I feel the same way. So my birthday is next week. Wow, I'm gonna be 29, which is the age my mom turned every year. She told me every year was her 29th birthday. And my mom asked me what I wanted, and I was like, I want new clothes for Las Vegas, because yeah. And that's another thing I think we need to talk about, is when you get out of the military, how many different phases I went through, especially with wardrobes, because all I had was my uniforms and clubbing clothes, like crop tops and really short shorts. That's all I could wear, and it was horrible. And I went to the first day of school. I felt so uncomfortable, and so I bought like a few clothes. Yeah, I did. If anyone else went through that, I want to hear your stories. Thank you, Nydia. Nydia is my old neighbor. She lived across the street from me. She's like another mother to me. Love you. Yeah, it's like freshman year. And then you overthink it too, especially if you're going to a traditional school, you're going in person. You think everyone's going to care what you're wearing, and you show up on the first day and everyone's in sweatpants or pajamas, and I'm like, yeah, no one cares what I'm wearing. You just get over it really fast. There was one more thing I wanted to plug, and that was Rachel Oswalt from Your Story Doesn't End Here podcast. She's huge on military mental health and changing things, military, how they handle military mental health care in the military. And she's doing an event. She's out in Oak Harbor, Washington, I want to say. I'll tag her in this video too, because she has something going on September 30th as well. And I think it's a few speakers. It's a whole event. So if you're out in Washington, over on the East Coast, definitely check it out and get in touch with Rachel. She's doing a lot in that area and bringing so many people together. She's really awesome. But yeah, so this, I want to do this more often. Just be able to connect. And I know this podcast also is on a radio show, Race Across America Radio. So it's hard for the live dialogue to translate to a radio show, because people aren't seeing the comments, or even when you replay. And I wish Instagram would change this, because even when you replay a video, like on YouTube, you can see the live comments, and so you'll know what people are talking about, but Instagram doesn't do that. It just deletes all the comments. So it's a lot of times just me talking to myself, or it seems like it is, which is whatever. But yeah, maybe I'll try to fit this in once a month. I'm currently, I think, booked until October with Vet Chats. And then I want to take a break. I'm going to try to make myself take a break for November, because I'll be at the Military Influencer Conference on the second week in November, and then the next week is Thanksgiving. But it's so hard for me, because I get so excited, especially meeting so many people. Visionary Veterans. We're going to have them on. They just joined. We're going to have them on in September. So speaking of the schedule, but what was I saying? But yeah, I just get so excited about meeting so many people, and I want to share everyone's stories, and I want to share what everyone's doing and all the nonprofits, and just bring everyone together. But it's a mandatory break. But yes. Oh, and yes, my wedding anniversary is in November. Thank you, Nydia. That is important. Yeah, the MIC is fun, and it's not just for influencers. I actually don't like that they called it that. And KP from the Morning Formation podcast, he just made a YouTube video, which does a great job at describing what it is and who it's for. And that's one of the things that he directly puts in there, is it's not for influencers, it's for anyone in the space, or anyone wanting to be in the veteran military space or looking for careers. It's very something that I think everyone could find value in. So yeah, this started off really slow and nerve-wracking, but it's almost time. It's almost been 45 minutes. But yeah, I need to plug the Facebook group, because that's where this all started, and it's really, really been a fun place lately with these new chats. And it's cool because, the Facebook algorithm is so all over the place, and it's nice because now when you have a benefit question, instead of posting in the group and nobody seeing it, you can post it in the chat and people will definitely see it immediately. And especially because it's about a specific thing, I think people have been responding within 5 minutes, which is awesome. And I also wanted to plug the veteran workbook. And if you're iffy about it, I don't know, I made this really cheap. It's only $10, but we're going through it. You don't need the workbook. We're going through everything in the Veteran Workbook Challenge in the Facebook group. And it's just a lot of fun. You can get a little taste of it. Even just go to the event page and you can scroll through and you'll see a sample of the daily questions or what you'll be getting. And keep in mind, this is just the first 2 themes that are posted right now, and they're kind of slow. It's kind of building on things, and it gets more deeper. Like next week, we're going to get into that identity, and it'll be more intimate, I guess. And that's why I always offer people, you don't need to share everything on there. You can just say, I'm done for the day. But it's really cool to keep each other accountable. And I post the prompts every morning at 6:30. So if you're an early riser, and this is East Coast, so if you're it's going to be earlier and earlier if you're more on the West Coast. But yeah, 6:30 every morning, and throughout the day, we just kind of check in with each other. So that's the main thing. And I also, again, if you go to the link in my bio, and I'm going to be posting it in my stories, check out the new merch we have. And also, with this website, I can make a lot of different things, and we can have a lot of fun with it. So just let me know what you guys want. If you want different colors. Honestly, black doesn't look good on me. Like, look at this. It kind of washes me out. But, I mean, this is a nice sweatshirt, and a lot of people like black. And it's good quality. I ordered it ahead of time to check it out. And the hat with the actual stitching on it. Oh, I really like it. I like a good hat, especially for the beach days. But yeah, please go check those out, and you can check out the hats that I made. And they were all quality tested by my daughter. She put a few of them on to make sure they looked good. And they're also kind of adjustable. I have sizes, but yeah, if you wanted this to be shorter, you could just move the brim up. Yeah. So how cool. Hey, Dan. Yes, I'll also link the Facebook group so you guys can join. I appreciate you guys. It's already 9:45. Thank you so much for joining and keeping me company. And I hope you'll join the Facebook group if you're not in it. And keep up with us. So, yeah, thank you guys again, and I hope you have a great week. Bye, everyone.